Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third and the final round here at the 2018 Monster on the Mountain. Terry Miller is again joined by Coby Guice from Florida. Coby, thanks for joining me, man. We're ready to close this thing out.
Yeah, man, glad to be here with you. We've seen some really exciting golf these first two rounds, and you see Paul starting it off. And so far, it's just been a real domination by Paul and Calvin.
Yeah, we find that they actually had the same score during round two. I believe that was an 8 under, and McBeth had a 1-stroke advantage after round one. So he's carrying this single stroke into the third and final round, and they're really out ahead of everyone else. This seems to be a 2-horse race at this point.
Yeah, it seems like everybody after Calvin and Paul are just really fighting for third and fourth place because it's I don't foresee anybody getting anywhere close to him at this point. But Reid throwing a really nice shot, getting it up there, well inside the circle.
This one plays a little bit to his lefty advantage. Although this is marked at 300, I think it might effectively play about 300. I'm not sure that's a full 300 feet up that hill.
Yeah, just the uphill may make it a little bit tougher to get there, but still shouldn't have much of an issue. But it looks like Calvin giving it a pretty good bid from over there.
He's at best looking at a par. And here's Sam Aldrich, who's the first time we've seen him here this weekend. We saw Reid in the third round, and that's a pretty sweet, nice long birdie to get started. A little confidence booster.
Absolutely. It's always good to start out with those outside the circle putts on the first hole, really shake off the jitters, and Paul doing the same thing.
So McBeth immediately extends his lead by an extra stroke with 17 left to play. Reid, we saw, had a real propensity for somehow finding the treetops and getting stuck. And he's got to be happy there's no 2-meter penalty rule at this event, because I think he'd have about 3 or 4 extra strokes on his card.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be, hopefully he can keep it down out of the trees today, but I know might be playing a little bit more aggressive, trying to make some sort of move. But again, it's going to be a long stretch if he's going to do so. All right, hole 2 coming up, the par 4. That, as you saw, Calvin getting the lone eagle in round 1, and Paul just mashing a shot out there.
It may be a little bit redundant, but so much of this course is just truly playing for placement, especially on these par 4s and a couple of the par 5s. You don't want to be pushing that left side, for instance, finding that tall sawgrass. Not only do you not have a run up, but it's kind of painful to stand in there or try and throw from it.
Yeah, if you hadn't ever been in sawgrass before, it only takes one time to realize that you're not going to want to be in there trying to throw because, again, it will cut you up pretty good.
And this hole doesn't set up too well for the lefty, and Reid not quite turning it over. Last round, he turned it over too much, so he may have overcorrected as we're watching Sam throw his approach, trying to get up on that green, and he kind of just filters through.
Yeah, got a little sneaky, but it worked out perfect for him. Reid trying the big forehand, maybe stay out of the trees this time. Hopefully trickle all the way down.
No, it doesn't. Oh. That one actually hung up in the tree for him again.
And Calvin trying to repeat. Doesn't quite do it, but, I mean, a part job. Can't be too mad at that for birdie.
Not at all. Both him and McBeth in perfect position here. Well, and there you have it. There's Reid's disc up in the tree. He'll take it from there without a penalty stroke. And this is the look he has from behind the basket, thanks to Seth on the catch cam. And he's right next to it. So Sam is lining up for what should be a birdie putt, and he cashes it in.
Yeah, 2 for 2. Yeah, coming out strong. This is my first time seeing Sam play, but starting out pretty strong. Can't be mad. 2 for 2. Paul converting for his birdie as well. And I don't think Calvin should have any issue with this one.
No, it is great to see, though, as those scores continue to shift around, that for just a brief moment, Paul sits with a 3-stroke advantage. Of course, after the birdies, now they're back to 2-stroke advantage, and pretty good start for both of them so far.
Yeah, and as you know, I mean, the way Paul plays, he's going to be pressing this whole round. So Calvin's really going to want to start making a move if he is going to try to take the victory.
And McBeth laid off a little bit. We saw him go with kind of the hero route, and he got burned for a bogey on the previous round.
Yeah, and Sam's trying that same shot. I mean, maybe not quite as much as Paul trying to push it up the hill, though. It's a pretty simple. I don't want to say simple, but it should be a pretty straightforward 2-shot hole getting up to the basket. I know the elevation is going to make it a little bit tougher, but I mean, if you look at Calvin's shot right there, it's going to put him in perfect position just by throwing it right down the pipe.
And that's exactly what you're looking to do. And, the lefty forehander, Reid, so proficient with that forehand, just trying to find yourself somewhere on the gravel path, hopefully in the opening. And if you come up short like Sam has here, you've got 1 or 2 extra trees to contend with.
Yeah, and he's really going to want to try to get it up without turning it over. But again, the same thing. That's kind of where Paul ended up in the previous round, and it's not the easiest out, but he should be just on the edge of the shoal, so not too bad.
And what a shot by Calvin. You got to miss that one tree, which kicked a few discs out of bounds on the previous round. But if you miss that one tree and you've got anything that resembles that angle, you're going to put yourself in putting distance.
Yeah. And Paul
McBeth follows suit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a shootout between them, it looks like. Just trying to pack in the birdies early, that's for sure.
Reid again relying on that standstill forehand. He's pushed up to that left side, and Sam's got a little bit of work to do, and he's come up short. He's left himself a tester here, and you've got to worry about this little bit of mound that it's on the spine here.
Yeah, hopefully that one sits down for him. Anytime you got the basket, even on the littlest mound with OB around, it's going to, and a lot of times it's going to get in your nerves, especially maybe your first time on a card like this with Calvin and Paul. It can definitely, and you see the nerves right there, just maybe getting the best of them.
Meanwhile, Heimburg and McBeth just doing what they've been doing all weekend and not really phased here. Calvin puts in for the easy birdie. Wow, McBeth, so confident. He's not even going to take his bag off.
Yeah, easy peasy. I see he's wearing that old end of a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see those too much, the backpack or the pre-backpack style.
Those are a little bit old school. So Paul McBeth still with now that 2-stroke lead. The only difference from this round was hole number 1. And it sounded like there was a little distraction. Either it was his footing and or a distraction. And you heard him say, why didn't you just stop? And he's kind of second guessing himself after that.
Yeah, maybe he could probably still get up and down for a 3. Calvin, wow, that's probably going to be the best shot you're going to see on this hole by a long shot.
And Reid makes a great adjustment. We saw him hit early and really struggle here during round 2, but today puts it right up where you want to be.
Yeah, I haven't seen the scoring for the rest of the field on this hole, but again, I'm willing to bet it's playing over par for the weekend just to get it down and then try to force it a flat skip to get back up the hill. It's just got a lot of things going on with the disc.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't checked the stats, but I'd be willing to bet there were less than a handful of birdies. There may have literally been only 1 or 2 birdies the entire weekend here on this par 3. Here's McBeth from the left side, and just really weird angle that he's got to go with. And look at this flex.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty amazing shot right there to get back up the hill.
Even just to give himself a look at a par is incredible from where he was. And there's that hillside. You just talked about that a minute ago. Anytime it's up on a little mound, you really have to be careful about what angle you're putting it down.
Reid just kicking off a little bit, doing the same thing, trickling off that side of the mound. Hopefully he'll have a putt, not through the sawgrass. But Calvin, long look for 2. Wow, that's such a great drive on this hole.
It really is. That would be parked for one of the older positions in previous years. And Reid with the uphill is going to put that one in. Reid's really a confident putter. He just pretty much gets up and throws it in every time.
Yeah. Focuses in, makes his move. A lot of success. And Sam, I know it's tough getting through that sawgrass, trying to get up and over the elevation as well. Just trickling out the right side on him.
Oh, and McBeth with the opportunity to save the par. And not only is he short, but then he gets pushed down this hill, and he's really struggling with his footing. I was leaving a little of this extra footage in here because he had a hard time with it, and he's not very far from the basket. But now, after just putting for his par, here's McBeth for his bogey. Eesh.
Yeah, he's going to want that one back for sure. That's putting Calvin in perfect striking position. That's a couple strokes swing right there. Wow.
Oh my. Yeah.
Wow. I think we talked yesterday. We saw maybe one of his first 3 putts in quite some time. So to see it in another round and still sitting where he is, I mean, it goes to show you how
Crazy.
good he. Yeah.
All right, we'll be back after a word from this sponsor.
Sun King Discs, established in 2001. Florida's most respected name in disc sports. Official retail merchandiser of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Currently on tour supporting Discraft and DGA live inventory, free shipping at $12. All orders $19.99, ships in a box, includes single discs, large selection of both stock and collectibles. Check out the website at www.sunkingdiscs.com.
Welcome back. Of course, this weekend's event put on by Sun King Discs, Mike Barnett and crew, along with Discraft and DGA as your presenting sponsors. And what a turn of events we just saw a moment ago. The triple bogey by McBeth and the par by Heimburg. And just like that, Heimburg's got a single stroke advantage.
Yeah, and going into this hole, everybody's going to want to get the birdie on this. We're coming in at a short 215 downhill, and in the past couple of days, it seems like it's been a pretty must-get birdie.
And McBeth definitely frustrated. He wasted no time as he got up and threw on this one. And you're exactly right. This is one of the must-gets at just a little over 200 feet. Yeah, it's a placement shot, but you got to pick this one up.
Oh, no. Sit down.
Yeah. And that fence line back there is actually out of bounds. He doesn't find it, but this is McBeth for birdie.
Roll, please, just roll. Thank you.
Ouch.
Yeah, just really frustrated. And you hate to see it like that, but a lot of times when you have a spit out, it can get in your head a little bit, and then just to rush the next shot, and again, maybe just doing the same thing on the putt, not having full focus on it.
And handling that quite well after being a little bit frustrated there for Sam. And McBeth's going to walk away. So we see Heimburg pick up 3 strokes from him on the previous hole. And now Heimburg's trying to put a little more work in on it. And that's going to be a 4-stroke swing in the last 10 minutes. You don't see that too often.
No, not at all. Not against Paul. I mean, making up that many strokes, and now you're sitting 2 strokes ahead of Paul. That's going to be a huge swing coming into these, I guess, the end of the front 9. And again, another must-get birdie hole right here. Calvin just yanking it over. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he just throws it perfect.
Just the right amount, and Calvin sitting just a few feet behind the pin. And if you want to use a term momentum, I think it's definitely in Calvin's favor right now, as Paul seems to be just a little bit frustrated. We'll see if he can dial this one in, though.
Yeah, see, going for the ace run. The last 2 rounds, he's left it just a little bit sawed off and short, so he was making sure not to do that again.
And really like that play. Maybe a little bit more power from Sam would have worked, but he still has a good look at birdie here.
And a nice knock in. That's perfect.
So McBeth, who has gone 0 for 2 on this hole, now this is the closest he's been, and he's going to this time be able to cash it in. And you really can't let that one slip past you, as Calvin's picked up 4 on you in the last 2 holes. And he's parked for this one.
Yeah, he's going to want to try to slow that momentum down from Calvin. It's like you said, that the momentum shift, it's huge. It definitely is. And when a player gets that, I guess, a little taste of blood like Calvin has, he's going to keep trying to run with it.
Fair, is it fair to say, since you know Calvin pretty well, is he one of the nicest guys we'll find in all of the Florida disc golf? Or not?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Calvin's awesome. He's definitely one of the nicer people out there, and he's just a real class act. He's always going to be having fun on and off the course. So,
And
real
he's
level headed.
I was just going to say, as we're watching Reid throw a great forehand shot, Calvin's actually an incredibly smart fella, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he just finished up with his engineering degree from University of Florida. So, trying to make the parents proud, following their footsteps.
And speaking of which, his dad was out here walking along, taking in this final round action, getting a front row seat as we watch McBeth put himself right in the middle of the fairway. And Sam's hoping to do the same.
Yeah,
We'll have to see where that one finished.
threw it a little high, but hopefully, yeah, it looked like it was sitting in the middle right there. And Reid just blasted one out there, just perfect, right inside the circle. Might be bullseye.
Last time we saw this basket, there's Calvin's dad off in the distance on the blue. Last time we saw this basket in March, it was actually pushed back a little bit further, and Mike Barnett brought the basket kind of to the front of the mouth, or the opening there, just so everyone couldn't just blast into the back of the hillside and be parked. So I really like the thought process here.
Yeah, I think it plays a little bit tougher, a little bit better as well, because people are going to tend to, I guess, fade off to the left side more so. So it is going to give it a little bit more of a scoring difference, I would assume.
And eventually Calvin's disc was found right there. I cut out the 2 minutes and 59 seconds of searching for it. It was a huge crush, but it was really difficult to find, and it was actually further up than anyone else had realized. So very fortunate that he was able to find it and that we were able to play from that spot without penalty. And by 2 minutes and 59 seconds, I think I'm being generous there.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I think a lot of people tend to give you just a little bit of leeway, especially fighting through that tall grass. But
And
another pack of birdies.
yeah, some solid play there. And this is just a beautiful tunnel shot, just trying to go up the middle. And it's not as much as your speed as it is your angle here.
Yeah, absolutely. If you catch edge right here on this hill, you have a good chance of rolling OB. But Calvin throws it really nice. It's fading out a little too early. Probably won't have a putt, but he shouldn't have an issue picking up the 3 from there.
No, where are you going?
Good redirect by McBeth. Certainly a misfire by his account, but that little last tree kick at the end might give him at least a look at the basket from there.
Yeah, and Sam with the early release. Make a tough little up shot.
Yeah, those off-balance shots as he was just trying to catch his footing as he came down, those can be some of the toughest. Across your body, off balance, on a hillside. That was actually a pretty high-level shot there by Sam.
Yeah. Puts it pretty close too as well. Those trees in the backstop did a really good job. Paul with a nice bid. Wow.
Yeah, he had just a little too much mustard up the hill there. He was right on point with it, just a little bit high. Now he's got this comebacker from a knee after it just kissed off the top of the cage. And
just, yeah, visibly frustrated, but I mean, with good reason. I mean, Calvin creating a little bit more space in between them, and he's obviously going to be a little bit frustrated.
So Calvin extends his lead, and that's just momentary that we're seeing the scores. McBeth is looking at a bogey as Calvin has just put in for birdie. Sam's doing work. He's going to walk away with the par. That's a working man's par for sure.
Yeah, that was a great save.
And both during rounds 1 and 2, we saw some nasty rollaways here on hole 8. So no nasty rollaways, but Paul McBeth still finding a little bit of trouble. And just like that, he's down 4 strokes when no more than just an hour ago, he was sitting with a 2-stroke advantage. What a turn.
All right, now we got hole 9, 440 feet. Really want to force the turnover on it, and which Calvin does, but looks like it's not fading out quite enough, but should have a pretty easy upshot. Now, the hole, in my opinion, might play a little tougher for the lefty. Trying to get it to stand up is not going to be as easy, especially in that crosswind it looks like they're getting. Still great shot.
Yeah, it looks like he found the gap and put himself into position, which is all you can really ask for here. When I think about the par 3s out here that you could possibly pick up a 2 on, this has to be one of the tougher ones. Hole 4 is one of the tougher ones, and then I think the next hole that you'll see on the back 9, hole 10, is probably one of the tougher ones.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And we saw McBeth just fillet this on the previous round, literally 3 feet away. And we'll see if the wind can push this over enough.
Oh my God.
And it doesn't.
Oh, just barely clips that, knocks it down. Still, he's in the middle. Shouldn't have too much trouble getting up. Yeah, puts himself in good position for the par. But again, he's not looking for par at this point.
No, pars will do him no good as he's sitting 4 strokes down to Heimburg with just 9.5 holes to play, grabbing a little medal right on point there for Sam. And Heimburg's looking at a birdie of his own. We'll see if he can convert. You called it yesterday. You said if he's ever misses, he's a tad short. And I'll give him. That was uphill 50 feet and all. But yes, just a tad short, but right on line.
Yeah, it's not going to be, he's not missing east to west too much. And Reid, great. Yeah.
Solid birdie picking that one up. And McBeth seems like it's just going from bad to worse here. He's, 15, 18 feet from the basket, and he's got to work this hard just to get himself a stance.
Yeah,
wow. So he ultimately is looking to take a knee, and as you watch him line this up, this is not a normal release out of McBeth's hand.
No, is he going horseshoe? It's like half horseshoe, I guess.
Yeah, he made it work. So, well, speaking of making it work, I want to thank you for joining me again. Everyone's been loving the Coby Guice commentary. We appreciate it. Thank you to Mike Barnett, Sun King, along with Discraft and DGA. I'd like to invite you for the conclusion on the back 9, and we'll see you there in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.